Well, it is a pleasure to be here this morning, 28 weeks out from the G20 and the G20 Leaders Summit that will be held here in Brisbane, indeed right here at South Bank. And I want to commend Griffith University and the Lowy Institute for International Policy for joining forces to present and coordinate this international important conference, because it is the perfect time, ladies and gentlemen, to reflect on, indeed to capitalise on, the economic benefits that the G20 will bring to Queensland, from the obvious and immediate boost at the time of the summit in terms of hospitality, accommodation, the service sectors, to the giant spike in international awareness of our state and the state's capital, Brisbane, in the months and years to come. Of course, our first and highest priority, first and foremost priority is, of course, to run a safe and secure event for visiting leaders, delegates, the media and indeed our own community. And that is a big challenge. And I'm pleased to report that the joint planning of policing, security and support services is progressing well with the Australian Government. And in the last week I've had cause to talk to the Prime Minister and the Federal Attorney General on a couple of occasions about the planning work for G20. It's all going well. Now, securing G20 was a huge vote of confidence for Queensland and our ability to host such a major world event. We intend to deliver beyond all expectations. We're planning to knock the socks off, if I may say that. The 3,000 media representatives, half of them will be international media, and the 4,000 delegates who will be in town for the event. They'll be relaying experiences of our world-class infrastructure, the skilled workforce, the obvious lifestyle advantages back home to their home countries. It is indeed our big opportunity to showcase our key industries and, most importantly, the economic potential of Queensland to the world. Throughout this year, therefore, we'll be sharing our trade and investment achievements and building long-lasting relationships with our G20 partners, some of them who'll be visiting our state for the very first time. We have a comprehensive plan in place to forge new ties and strengthen some new ones and existing ones. Our G20 economic leveraging strategy, which was recently endorsed by the State Cabinet, includes a number of initiatives that will highlight our successes and the many investment opportunities that exist in, firstly, our four pillars: agriculture, tourism, construction and resources, and also the other important areas of our economy in education, science and innovation. The strategy includes an international media campaign, a G20 Queensland Trade and Investment Summit to be held during Queensland's Export Week in October, and the Cairns Future of Tropical Economies Forum, which will be held just prior to the G20 Finance Ministers and Central Bank Governors meeting in Cairns. We've also endorsed a G20 engagement and communication strategy, which will target both national and international audiences. It includes the Queensland Globe for G20, which will expand our current online interactive Queensland Globe and showcase the state's trade, investment, tourism, major projects, world-class skills and capabilities to a global audience. Locally, we're also running a number of initiatives to inform Queenslanders, our own people, about the importance of the G20 and how it can practically benefit them. I'm really pleased to see that the universities are joining us in this quest, hosting a number of G20 events. I'm also excited by what I'd call the legacy projects planned by our universities, including the Global Business Challenge. And that's a really important one. That's shaping up to be, I believe, a very successful ongoing global education initiative that will continue our state's engagement with the G20 well beyond 2014. It's great to see the strength of the relationship that Griffith has forged with the Lowy Institute, which in turn has created new opportunities to explore development issues that impact on all of us. Queensland has a great track record, I believe, in working closely with our developing neighbours in the north and across the Asia-Pacific region to facilitate trade. It's included key initiatives in agriculture, in construction and infrastructure development, education and remote service delivery. We're contributing to the growth of emerging nations through education and training. Griffith and our other leading universities have established strong research and educational links overseas. And I've done many trade missions over the years in political life as Lord Mayor and now more recently as Premier. And on every one of my trade missions, I've always taken people from our universities, and I've always been struck by those close ties between Queensland tertiary institutions and tertiary institutions' educational work throughout the region. There are fantastic ties that are there, very strong ones indeed. We're also, in that same space, impacting global development through science and innovation with biomedical breakthroughs, agricultural innovations, sustainable building design and disaster readiness planning. Going forward, I believe there's enormous potential for Queensland to share its tropical knowledge. I don't think we've done enough of that, but I know JCU, for example, are very keen to push that. Our tropical knowledge, expertise and skills with emerging tropical economies within and beyond the G20. This year's Future of Tropical Economies Forum in Cairns that I referred to before will pave the way for a major boost in our state's knowledge sharing, and it's likely to extend our partnerships in areas such as tropical medicine, tropical agriculture and tropical design and construction. I make the point that it's quite interesting to see how our cities and towns stand up to some of these more recent cyclonic events, given the research and development that's been put into practice over the last 30 or 40 years, probably on the aftermath of Cyclone Tracy in Darwin. And I think that's something when we see the sort of disaster events that occur throughout our region with typhoons and hurricanes. And again, there's an important area of expertise I think that we have to offer. With so many of our emerging nations located in the tropical zone, Queensland is therefore poised to make a very important contribution to the future of these economies, their community health and resilience. So, our G20, ladies and gentlemen, will be strongly focused on the two key themes of economic growth and employment, both central to the success of developing countries. For Queensland, it's important that the G20 Leaders Summit is a highly successful event. It will help forge higher levels of international economic cooperation, enrich our global partnerships, and extend our thinking on the issues of development, growth, employment and trade. As Premier of this state, I'm really looking forward to sharing our successes with the world, including our latest economic achievements and our renewed focus on international trade and investment. My government wants to see an increase in the number of international students and tourists coming to Queensland, and a number of global meetings and major world events being held here. A successful G20, in my view, will swing the doors wide open, no doubt about it. So thank you once again to Griffith University and the Lowy Institute for leading today's discussions. I wish you every success in this conference. To everyone here today, thank you so much for your interest in and ongoing support of the G20 in Queensland. It's an incredible, once-in-a-generation opportunity for this state, for this city, but of course Australia, to benefit all of us. So let's make the most of it. Thank you indeed. Have a great conference.